Yo, what is up guys, it's me Zach Lee and welcome back to the Zach Lee Show, where we talk about everything going on in the NBA on a daily basis. As always, you guys are the real MVPs. You're coming back each and every single day. Can't thank you guys enough. But now let's just take a quick look at everything that is going on in the NBA. But first, a quick word about this video sponsor, athleticcases.com. Basketball, baseball, football, or even soccer, you can now rock your favorite player on the back of your phone no matter what the sport. Use the promo code Zach Lee for 10% off. Link is in the description box below. But now with that out of the way, on to the video. Let's go. You know the name that hasn't been talked about much at all this season? Hassan Whiteside. I can't remember the last time I talked about Hassan Whiteside on this channel. He's been going through some things this year. A bunch of nagging injuries keeping him out the game, and apparently, according to him, the Miami Heat, especially Erik Spoelstra, the head coach of the Miami Heat, trying to keep him out of the games too. As after the Miami Heat lost to the Brooklyn Nets yesterday, Hassan Whiteside went off. He went in on the team over his lack of playing time in the game. A lot of teams don't have a good center. They're going to use their strengths. It's bullcrap. It's really bullcrap, man. There's a lot of teams that can use a center. The minutes have been like that all year. It's really frustrating. It's tough. I don't know, man. It's crazy. I don't understand it. He was then asked that this situation with his playing time is causing him to rethink his future in Miami, and he said, I don't know. Maybe, he says. This year, Hassan Whiteside has only been averaging around 25 minutes per game, which is 7 less minutes than he was averaging last season. And last night, he only got to play 20 minutes, was checked out of the game in the third quarter, and did not return even in overtime, which is kind of insane because typically for overtime, teams will put their starting lineups back in the game, and Hassan Whiteside, being that center, didn't even get to do the jump ball. So I can definitely see how this has him feeling some type of way. As for why he didn't get back into the game, Erik Spoelstra said it was because the Nets went small ball, went to a smaller lineup, so he had to adjust to that. He had some good moments tonight. They went to a smaller lineup, and it always comes to that. Does the speed lineup get to size, or does size get to speed? And their speed got to our size a little bit. And Whiteside knew this. He knew this was the reason he was pulled for the game, but he still didn't like it. Man, it's annoying. Why are we matching up? We got one of the best centers in the league. Why are we matching up? So he thinks he should have stayed in the game and have made the Brooklyn Nets adjust to him, which would be feasible. Whiteside should have been able to dominate amongst all the smaller guys. Give the ball to him in the post so he can get some buckets. On the defensive end, he can get rebounds, protect the paint. He should have been able to cause some matchups, but Erik Spoelstra decided to play down, and of course, Whiteside didn't like that. And to be honest, his future in Miami right now is seeming extremely bleak. I don't see too many situations in which he ends up on the Miami Heat next season. If what's been going on with his minutes keeps up for the rest of this season and into the playoffs, he's gonna request a trade over the offseason. It's gonna happen. The Warriors' injuries continue to persist. They keep getting injured. Well, up until this point at least, none of the injuries have been too serious. Steph Curry has had some that kept him out for extended period of time, but none of them have been potentially career altering or maybe even ending injuries up until now. Patrick McCaw, on a drive to the basket, was undercut by Vince Carter, and well, this happened.
Oh, beautiful pass to McCaw and a foul. What a gorgeous look that was by Bell. Uh-oh, let's hope McCaw's all right.
Oh, he hit his.
Oh, boy.
Hit that.
You can see.
Having your legs taken from up under you while you are in midair has to be one of the most dangerous things that can happen on the basketball court, because at that point you're basically free falling to the ground with no chance at all to land in any type of proper way. And the way he landed, like his leg, his side, his back, his everything just took the full contact, the full brute force of that fall, and it was painful to watch. And afterwards, just the reaction from the players, the coaches, everyone in the arena. Steve Kerr was furious at Vince Carter for a second there.
This Warriors team is snake bit right now, and you can see the reaction from Steve Kerr.
And Vince, he seemed traumatized after it happened. At first he was trying to argue the call, but then he realized McCaw was down. He was like, oh snap, I did do something. I was wrong. It was so bad for Vince that when the game was getting ready to start again, Kevin Durant had to go over to him and try and, cheer him up, tell him it's gonna be okay. And even in the post-game interview, Vince Carter was still shaken and apologetic about the entire situation.
I just wanted to tell them, I'm not really big into all of that. I apologize, but it's, wanted to say to them, just it wasn't like that, and they understand it, and they shared their words back. But I'm just not really into that. I apologize.
You're wearing this pretty hard.
Yeah, he's a young guy, and he has a bright future. I don't play the game that way. So to see a young guy laying down there, it's an unfortunate situation, of course.
I really do believe that this was just an unfortunate accident for Vince Carter. It was technically his fault, but he didn't mean for this to happen. He wasn't trying to injure Patrick McCaw. The man hasn't committed a single dirty play in his career, so I think a lot of people, basically everyone, finds it hard to believe that this could have been on purpose. And just imagine putting yourself into the shoes of Vince Carter here. You're 40 plus years old, still in the NBA, well past the prime of your career. You could retire at any moment. Now, maybe you should have already retired, but for the love of the game, I guess he's still playing. And for him to do something like this on accident when he knows it's his fault, everyone knows it's his fault, whether or not it's an accident or not. For him, a guy who's at the end of his career, maybe past the end of his career though, possibly damage the career of such a young player, it'll make you feel terrible. It must be traumatizing for him. But all in all, this was an extremely scary injury to see, so I hope Patrick McCaw feels better soon. We did get reports that he got feeling back in his legs, which is a good sign. Also, the x-rays came back negative, so that's a good thing too. But he's gonna have some more tests done to see exactly if anything is wrong. But get well soon, Patrick McCaw. Vince, you didn't mean it, and he's probably not gonna feel better until he sees McCaw is going to be fine. But that actually does it for all the news and updates and stuff from yesterday though. Now let's take a quick look at the games from last night. Toronto, if you guys want to keep that #1 seed in the East, then you're gonna have to snap out of this little funk that you are in. Y'all seem like a lock to get the #1 seed a couple of weeks ago, but now you are only 2 games up on the Celtics, who have hit a stride even without Kyrie Irving. This 110-99 win over Toronto is now the Celtics' 6th straight W, whereas for Toronto, after they had their winning streak snapped by the Thunder a couple weeks ago, they've been in a win a game, lose a game, win a game, lose a game, win a game, lose a game type funk. So if this keeps up, Boston will get that #1 seed. Jason Tatum, Marcus Morris, and Terry Rozier all continue to play extremely well for the shorthanded Celtics. Tatum with 24, Rozier with 21 points and 7 assists, while Morris had 25 off the bench. Meanwhile, Rosen did have 32 for the Raptors, but the main thing I've noticed with Toronto has been their bench over the past few games. It just hasn't been as dominant as it has been all season long. John Wall finally returned for the Washington Wizards. Wasn't on a minutes restriction or anything, just came back like he never left in the first place. Took over the ball like he never left in the first place too. But it worked. I mean, it looked good. 15 points and 14 assists for Wall in the Wizards' 107-93 win over Charlotte. Other than that unfortunate injury to Patrick McCaw, yesterday was, I guess you could say, a good day for the Warriors, as they got Klay Thompson back in the lineup against the Kings, and with KD, Klay, and Dre back, they were able to beat the Kings easily. 112-96. Klay Thompson scored 25 points in his return, while Durant added 27. Well, you already know that Whiteside was frustrated in this game due to his lack of playing time, made even worse by the fact that they still didn't win. He didn't get to play and the Heat still lost, even though the whole move was made so they could possibly win the game and match up better with the Nets, and they still lost anyways. Whiteside should have been able to dominate this game given the opportunity, and he was having a solid night with 14 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 blocks in 20 minutes, but what can you do now? It's over. 110-109 the final in this one. Karis LeVert and Rondae Hollis-Jefferson were both huge for the Nets. Jefferson with 20 points and 14 rebounds, while LeVert had 19 points, 12 rebounds, and 8 assists off the bench. Even without Blake Griffin, who the Pistons might just decide to shut down for the rest of the season with his bone bruise in his foot, doesn't really matter, our season's over anyways, Detroit still won again, 115-109. There is a chance that the Pistons can have a 42-40 record to end this season. Considering all that's happened, I'll settle for 41-41, maybe even 40-42. Like, it'll at least give me a glimpse of hope for next season if we can stay healthy. We had a great beginning to the season, an excruciatingly rough middle, but we seem to be ending strong. Next year, we just have to play how we're playing now, and we're playing at the beginning of the season for all 82 games, or as close to all 82 games as possible. 115-109 to 109, the final score. Drummond did get put on a poster by Michael Beasley, but still had a strong game of 22 points, 17 rebounds, and 3 blocks, whereas for New York, that same Michael Beasley was getting buckets. 32 points for him, and Trey Burke continues to have his breakout season with 18 points and 15 assists. That wraps up all the action from yesterday though. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to smack that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more daily NBA news. Remember to vote for the player of the day, but also remember the only players whose team won are eligible to win player of the day. And yesterday, that player was LeBron James with his 27 points, 11 assists, and 9 rebounds. Thank you once again for watching. I'll see all of you right back here tomorrow, but until then, I am out of here.